Hey everyone, welcome to another video on the JayBee
Hey.
and Milly channel. Today we are gonna be recording our first impressions to Scooby-Doo and Krypto 2. Is that the name of the movie? Please tell me I got it right. So I feel like there's some context to be surrounded by this. If this is the first video you've seen of ours, we've covered this a little bit already. That the Krypto movie that's been rumored for so long has just not dropped, but just been available on the internet.
Yeah, it's crazy. So again, if this is your first time watching this, we've been keeping up closely with the cancelled and delayed Scooby-Doo movies. We interviewed one of the co-directors of Holiday Haunt a couple of days before it was cancelled, and the other director of Holiday Haunt a couple of days after it was cancelled. We also broke the story of the cancelled Hex Girls movie. So we've been following this very closely. And so if you want more coverage and hopefully some interviews about the Scooby-Doo and Krypto 2 movie, then please do subscribe to the channel. We also do weekly podcasts where we interview people that have worked on Scooby-Doo, including some amazing names in our back catalogue called, such as Kate Melton, Billy West, Nick Pilatus, so many other names on that list. There's over 75 of them available now. So I guess without further ado, we'll get into the reaction with one kind of proviso. We're not going to be able to show the whole movie in its entirety unedited, I don't think. I'm going to try and get it as true to form as possible, but please do bear that in mind. So yeah, let's get watching.
Okay, this is giving me vibes of Witch's Ghost, is it? Where you start with a flashlight and then walking in at the beginning?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's Superman and Wonder Woman.
Right, so I'm nervous here because I will admit I'm not a huge DC fan, and when I say huge, I mean not at all.
Yeah, I like superheroes. I've seen some DC films, but overall, not a great fan of DC, but I did enjoy the Batman crossover that they do, so
I'm gonna say Wolverine smashed a little bit more than just a struggle.
yeah, that's actually funny. Although then again, they're in like the DC universe
Yeah,
with
true.
Superman fighting.
Look like 1,000-volt ghost. Okay.
I'm wondering if this is a pre-established DC villain or if this is a unique Scooby ghost.
This is giving me kind of like more classic what's new era kind of vibes.
Oh,
With the villain, the kind of just the pans of, like I say, the flashlight and characterizations. It's very what's new to me. I don't know why.
I'm just trying to think of villains it could be, and I think there's someone called Molten Man in the DC universe. Ooh, I like the music. It's very superhero musicy. Like I have played the Lego Batman games, and this reminds me of that kind of score there. Ghostbusters.
Kind of interesting. They mentioned supernatural there.
Hmm.
Not something that you typically get mentioned in Scooby movies anymore. But it also does worry me that it is very DC. Like they've mentioned Justice League.
Yeah.
Is it Metropolis? Like, is this Doctor Who or like something? What is this? I like
Oh,
that.
Grey Griffin again. I do think this was produced, I think, either at the same time as Courage or just a bit before. I think this is old.
This has been in the rumor mill for a very
Yeah.
long time.
Apparently, though, someone says that there's a copyright little notice in this film for 2023, but I don't
That's just
know.
gonna have been if they were getting it ready to release now.
Hmm.
I'm getting really classic feels from this, and I don't know why.
Do we not have an actor for Krypto though? Like, no name showed up. It's good to see Jim Krieg work on this. We have interviewed him, and he has done a lot of DC stuff, so he's definitely the right person to oversee a crossover between them.
I like the titles a lot.
I still don't like Kate
No, that
McKinnon.
hurts. Oh,
Oh,
that's
good. Okay.
beautiful.
That's
Oh,
actually better. We have to. Okay.
how mad is that? Lillard is fantastic. Like, I can't believe, like, we both had that same reaction there, just hearing him as Shaggy.
Oh,
Okay.
that's like the classic design, right?
Yeah, from the Recipe for Disaster episode we were just talking
I
about
think
today.
so. I think that's what's new. Or
Uh,
It
Oh, what's new?
could
Green and
be
blue.
not Cyber Chase. Maybe Zombie Island. I'll have to check. That does sound like the animated actors though for Joker and Harley. I don't think who is Harley. I think it's Nika Futterman. No, that's Catwoman. I don't know who they are. The Joker could be Mark Hamill. Oh no.
Oh gosh, you got it before I did.
Yeah. I wonder if he likes the animation or if he's just a Margot Robbie simp.
I'm not liking it.
It's like if the Creeper met the Hulk.
I'm loving it and hating it, if that makes sense. Like, the stuff in relation to the gang, it all just feels so classic. I love it. But why have we met 5 villains already?
And clearly there's some type of fall of the Justice League, villains rise up, Mystery Inc. has to save the day. But
Did she just say that wasn't even the Creeper?
yeah, I think because Scooby said Creeper, which he does look like the Creeper, so I like that there's some connection. I just want them to blend it well, like to not assume that we know the characters, which they haven't done so far. What the heck is this?
Sorry, I was full on interrupting you there, but that was stupid that you think a windscreen wiper can clear fire.
Well, it could do. It could do. You never know. You never know. It could be a super. Oh my god.
Have they just got stuck on a movie set or something? Is that what's happening here? Like, this is very chaotic.
I mean, I like that what it's doing early on is it's showing us stakes. You know, it's not making us fearful because we know that they're going to survive this, save the day, whatever. But it's at least showing scope. You know, like there's jeopardy here, which I guess is appreciated on my part. It's just again by not knowing a lot of DC characters. To me, it's just like a lot of noise without much. Like, what can this person do? How scared of them are we meant to be? But that could just be an us thing, because a lot of people do like the DC stuff, so. Like me. I think I'm enjoying this a lot more because of like the Velma stuff. Like, I'm just relieved to be back in somewhat of similar territory now. But I think if this came out, just say if it was the one before Trick or Treat or whatever, I'm not too sure so far, but it's early. It's early. I thought our laptop had closed then. I was so scared.
I'm confused.
Hmm?
Why are they making such a big deal of the villain they met at the start, but when there was 3 outside the window, it's like it was nothing?
Yeah, see, that's a good point.
I think the issue these crossovers make is they work on the assumption that you know the other material as well as you know.
That's Lex Luthor.
That was Wilson Fisk.
I mean, similarities. She's the villain. It's got to be her. He was the main villain in the second Lego Batman game.
I like how you know it from the Lego Batman.
Yeah, that's literally
like, and I've just said it, but I'll say it again. They like assume that you're gonna know the crossover material as well as you know Scooby, and it's just not the case.
Then again, though, let's acknowledge that it is utterly bizarre that we don't in terms of pop culture and stuff. It would be as weird as, say, never watching Star Wars, which again we've never done. Like, generally, I think people will get this.
But you're holding that to people our age. Like, if you take it back to the age where we first watched Scooby, say 6 or 7, at 6 or 7, it's more unlikely that you're going to have seen the Justice League and things like that, like the live action movies. Are they not
but
like...
there's loads of animated stuff. There's loads of animated stuff. Like Justice League Unlimited and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know.
My favourite character in Scooby-Doo changes quite frequently. Right now it's Shaggy.
Do you know who mine is?
Daphne, and you're a simp.
It's Superman. I think that's a member of the Justice League, like, that's been cursed by something or made to look a certain way. Because if you look at his reaction to Velma, like, he was trying to reason with her, like, look, it's me or something. So maybe it's someone that knows Velma. It could be that Jimmy kid. Like, he is trapped in some type of paradox scenario. Like, I don't think they're trying to attack. I think that they're a victim, actually. I do like the look of Krypto. Like, just in general, the idea of a super dog, even if I don't know anything about him, I'm there for it, you know. I want a dog like Krypto, though. Imagine if someone tries to break into your house. It's like game over. I want to know who plays Lex. He's doing a good job. I think he sounds a bit like Kevin Michael Richardson, but
Mm.
I could even hear Neil Ross doing this. I'll say this, the way it worked out, I'm glad that it was Courage Movie, Trick or Treat, then this. Because if it was back-to-back crossovers, I think just that idea in general would have put me off. Oh, wow.
Do we know that this is the intended order? Because
Well, no,
we,
but the way it worked out for us, in
yeah.
terms of like the way it happened.
Yeah, I kind of wish I'd given Krypto a voice.
I guess that there's got to be a reason. Like, if Krypto could speak, he could just solve the mystery in 2 seconds. That must be it. Like, Krypto must know something that is going to be revealed in bits. You know what I mean? Or they just didn't want to pay an actor.
Or in the initial source material, Krypto doesn't speak, so they didn't want to
Maybe.
kind
I
of.
know there's been like two voice actors, or at least, that have been Krypto. They had like Dwayne the Rock Johnson as like a celebrity Krypto in the new Super Pets movie.
Oh,
So
wow.
I think more often than not, Krypto is known to speak, but they must have borrowed from something to make him not speak it. Like, I don't think this is going to be the only instance where he doesn't. What I don't get is if she turns invisible herself once inside them. If not, if anyone gets run over, they've got a mad view to go out on. Is this like a simulation or is it a holographic room, like for training
Guessing a
purposes?
holographic room.
They did this in at the start of X-Men 3. Like, I like the idea. Was that him transforming? Because I am speculating that that monster is an ally. Could that have been Superman, like that Flash, him morphing back into the molten thing?
Maybe.
Oh, do we get a song? Okay. Oh,
Oh, very cyber chasey. All the different
that's like
worlds
the
and stuff.
ultimate chase. I think one of those screenshots was one of the things that were leaked like a year ago now.
Scooby
See, I
snacks.
love that because I do think it's the law that, like, for Superman, no, the Green Lantern rings, that whatever you think of is what manifests. So I love that they manifested some food. But I think I said that in a
Oh,
Q&A.
top.
That's got to be an Easter egg to an extent that Casey Kasem was Robin, right? So now it's like a little Lillard, another passing on of the torch in a way. It's got to be like Daphne for. Are we going to get Daphne Wonder Woman? No, it's Scooby. Oh, I was gassed there. Oh, I want them to release this song at least. It is the Justice League. Yeah, that's Hawk Girl or Hawk Man. There was a one with flowing hair who's going to be Wonder Woman. Golly gee.
Gin piece.
So, ooh,
What?
oh, swamp gas. That was what they used to debunk Zombie Island. Hey, oh my gosh. And the producer, Jim Krieg, like, oh, he's either acknowledged a prior mistake or he's playing with us. That's mad.
I've got a question, but I think it's a discussion video in itself.
We'll ask it and we'll see if we can hold it off or not.
Do you think this movie's meant to be coming out? Or do we think because it was made so long ago, it was been pushed back and was at risk of being shelved?
I don't think this is coming out. Unless this leaking changes minds, but no, I don't think this is coming. A lot of people are like, well, when's the trailer? Hopefully the DVD's out soon, but I don't think so.
Jimpies, I love Jimpies.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, JB, you're gonna simp for this, aren't you?
Oh my gosh. See, this is it. This is how you do it. It's the best thing Kate McCucci's ever said. Wait, so they don't go invisible?
No.
Okay.
You saw that when the parking attendant moved their plane.
I have questions about about this universe, but I don't care to ask them her. JB,
JayBee.
I do hope that they have a solution to this here, and the Justice League gets saved by them as opposed to they're in jeopardy and Superman just punches a thing and it flies to Mars. It's like a rock'em sock'em
Oh
robot.
gosh.
I am disappointed that Krypto doesn't have a voice actor, but I think for the story that they're telling, it kind of works. Oh, that's overwhelming, that is.
Ugh.
Oh, right. So,
Oh
oh
my
my
gosh, it
gosh,
looks
it
so
is
JayBee.
JB. Oh, look at that.
There's so
See?
much crypto there.
No, who was Lex? Lex
I believe
is.
there's Charles Halford. There isn't any mention of Rex Ruther. They've got a voice actor for them.
It was Rex. Was that Fred Tatterskull?
No, it was
Ah. So I guess in terms of the video, we're gonna sit through these credits in live action, but either you're gonna see us react to a post-credit scene or you're gonna see us get straight into our kind of initial reactions. So yeah.
okay. So JayBee, we've now finished Krypto Too. You've seen it for the first time. First thoughts.
Okay, well, starters, I will say, in terms of the channel, I enjoy reacting to stuff with you because it was better for me not to have any foreknowledge because we could speculate. That's what I'll say about that. So, hopefully, if you want to see more reactions on the channel, please comment down below what Scooby movies or Scooby related videos you want to see us react to next. But I, here's the thing, I kind of feel like it was a bit of a Spider-Man No Way Home effect where I was having decent fun throughout it all, but then there was stuff at the end where it got into more action-based stuff, more stuff that I knew, and I was like, okay, so this is a lot better. So I think they ended on a high, as the movie does, in my opinion. So possibly I'm going to be a bit kinder to it than I normally would be if it was like a formal episode of the podcast, and also recency bias. It's new content, new stuff. So I do think my opinion on it is going to be more positive today than it will be next week. But I don't know. I wasn't expecting anything. Like, I don't like DC that much. I don't understand DC that much. I was expecting to not like that movie at all, and I thought it was good. I thought it was fine. I preferred the handling of Courage, but I think there was more for me to, in the moment, enjoy than Courage. Like with Courage, I was kind of watching stuff happen and having a good time. Here, I was like, oh, that's a great moment for this character. I like the action sequence here, and I like that there's stakes that's been built up and the comedy. So I think I prefer it to Sword and the Scoob. I think I prefer it, some moments of it, to Courage. But I will say, I think I prefer Trick or Treat. Much prefer Trick or Treat. Just because it was more classic. I actually did end up preferring the animation style and missing it. Um, and I think Kate McCucci's performance has gotten better recently. And because I think this must have been recorded before. Because in Trick or Treat, it was fine, and here it didn't grow on me as far as I liked it. I just kind of numbed myself to it. But that first initial hit of Kate McCucci after a while was like, oh, like no, that's like scraping nails. So I don't know how to sum it up. Like, can you like kind of chime in? Like, how are you feeling about it?
I like a lot. I like more than I dislike, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So the things that I really like for me is I feel like okay, so the art style I loved. The art style was great. I loved especially the gang and all that kind of thing, how the art style was done. I also liked how it seemed very almost classic Scooby. It didn't seem kind of new and kind of all like they were trying to do things on a bigger scale and stuff like that. Like they, like the kind of references to the Scooby snacks again, and not having redesigned that box to make it more elaborate and things
yeah.
like that.
Oh,
And I also really liked the simple art style at the beginning. It didn't open, with that cold opening. It wasn't anything that was too detailed. It was quite simple colors, backdrop, characters were quite simple, plain colors. It wasn't like they'd thrown loads of detail in there. It looked very classic in its art style. Just to have that flashlight pan around as well. a lot of it seemed very true to kind of source material Scooby, which I really, really enjoyed. And to have a chase sequence, chase songs are something that I think in a lot of kind of more recent iterations of Scooby we've been missing. So I was really happy to have that there. I think for me the kind of dislikes comes from that DC crossover. I think they were trying to tick too many boxes. Like, the Joker didn't need to be in it. There was no benefit of having the Joker in it. Same with Harley Quinn. In fact, if they were wanting to dedicate, if they were wanting to kind of use this episode to show a closer proximity between Fred and Daphne, if anything, that just hindered what it is they were trying to do.
And it went nowhere, which was my thing. Like, I don't want it to drag on as like a recurring joke, but if there was like, because there was some good Fred and Daphne moments in this, but it kind of just got a bit dodgy by that moment at the start, which maybe makes something of that. Maybe we don't like it, maybe we do, but ultimately it goes literally nowhere. So
exactly,
it's kind of like they could have deleted that and it would have been a better Fred and Daphne movie.
Yeah, I'd agree. Also, that trio of villains that were shooting laser beams.
Yeah, I don't know what they were. I think they were
irrelevant.
like Razgullah or Ragagul or
the Giant. Irrelevant. Don't know them. Didn't further anything. So for me personally, great Scooby movie, hindered by some DC crossover, but ultimately an overall decent product.
And I do think the DC stuff that works does really work. Like, I don't know much about classic Lex Luthor and stuff,
I love Lex Luthor.
Integration within the gang, the way they did it was really good. And I was kind of nervous because they made him a bit of a joke at the start, and I was kind of like, oh, I know that DC purists, because I know they did like a live action version where he was played by Jesse Eisenberg, and everyone kind of dumped on that because Lex Luthor isn't some edgy tech kid, he's not some jokey character, he's a serious businessman. And so when they made him all jokey and goofy in this, I was like, okay, Scooby fans I can see being happy. Scooby fans who like DC I can see being happy. But DC purists, I could see it rubbing the wrong way entirely. But then when it was all kind of an act and they made him that kind of cunning planning guy at the end, it was like, okay, so they could have their cake and eat it. And I love Lex Luthor. And that was it, Jim Peas.
Jim Peas. I also liked, and you discussed it towards the end, how they didn't just bring the Justice League in to resolve the plot. They let the gang see it out and then brought them back.
Because I think a lot of times when they team up with DC characters, or even just in general, it's their thing that the Scooby Gang just happened to be in. Whereas this was a Scooby-Doo project first and foremost. Maybe not a complex mystery and more action-based, more comedy-based, but it was definitely Scooby-Doo in the world of DC, not like them kind of navigating their way around, like, are we just gonna sit on the sidelines and make jokes while Batman's doing the detective stuff and beating people?
For me, this was definitely top 3 crossovers.
Oh. See, this is interesting because it's not been officially released yet. Can it go in a tier list?
Yeah, of course it can.
You reckon?
Yeah, it's my top 3. Off the top of my head, I can't think of a crossover I like better. I do have some slight memory issues, so it could be on reflection that there is. But just kind of off the bat, I can't think of a better one.
Now, you asked me a question like off camera, and I think this is going to be the thing. We're going to maybe discuss it slightly here, but we're going to go into this in more detail. So is this movie on the way? Because it was in the comment section and you noticed that the copyright sign said 2023. And it's early days, right? Like, if this was in November, December, maybe it'd be a bit like, oh, is there enough time? Maybe it is cancelled. And I fully believed going into it that it was cancelled. But there's so many months left of 2023 left. It's possible.
I'm going to take a guess. And this is 100% theoretical. My thoughts are, you can tell from the art style, this movie was probably done as early as 2019, right? If you think about when Camp Scare came out, you picked up the Mystery Incorporated music in there. This has to be certainly done around that time, that kind of 2019 era. That was 4 years ago.
Then again, there was a tongue-in-cheek joke about Return to Zombie Island.
And when was that?
I think that was 2019.
So
So would it
that's when
have
we're
had
saying,
enough time to know the fan backlash and maybe,
I
maybe.
think you could have predicted that if you worked on the movie, if you'd seen the movie, that it was gonna.
Yeah.
So we're gonna say this was done about 2018, 2019, even to have that reference in there when the art style was, the music, things like that. So what I'm thinking is that this movie's been promised to come out to a few people on a few occasions. I imagine in those 4 years, they've been planning to release it, pushing it back, planning to release it, pushing it back, because we've heard about this movie on and off now for at least 2-3 years.
Yeah, I think Scooby-Doo and Krypto Too, it was being discussed as the next one after, I think, Sword and the Scoob, or possibly before. It was around about that time.
Okay. So I think we were always kind of led to expect a Scooby movie in March and one in September every year. I'm wondering if this was promised as the March one again, after a lot of it being rescheduled for over numerous amounts of years, and that news had just broke that they weren't putting it out in March again. Do you know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing.
That's my thoughts. And I think that because admittedly, and you've said this yourself, this came out the day after Mystery Pups was cancelled. I'm gonna say that this was meant to come out in March, when we used to expect a Scooby movie. Somebody was told, look, we're pushing this back again. They heard the Mystery Pups was cancelled. They saw, okay, Holiday Haunt cancelled. Haunted High Rise, we've just heard about that existence and it's been cancelled. Mystery Pups has been cancelled. This has gone on for long enough. Post. I genuinely think that that's what happened.
Like, if it was a week later, maybe, right? But it almost seemed like someone working on the film heard the news and almost, I don't want to say impulsively did it, because I don't want to like accuse anyone of not being able to remain professional in high risk situations. But you have to imagine someone will have heard about something or got given some bad news around about the same time and has just gone, right, if we don't get this out now, they're going to lock it down and it's going to be hidden forever.
And can we acknowledge that because projects like Mystery Pups, Mystery Pups, Krypto, and Haunted High Rise have been under wraps completely, right? There hasn't been an official list of this is who's worked on all of them. For all you know, there could be somebody that worked across all three projects that had been told that Haunted High Rise had been cancelled, that had been told that Mystery Pups had been cancelled, and they know that if this movie didn't go out, that was their three projects all gone. Like, I don't know if there's a person that's kind of involved across all three. I'm not saying that
there is one name, but I think it's too like their name would be on literally everything, and that would be the current president of Warner Bros. Animation. But again, they're literally like they're going to be involved in every single bit of animation. In fact, they may even be in the end credits of Velma. Like, in fact, I'm sure they are. So. Yeah, probably not that.
I'm gonna say that surely there's enough people out there that's as resentful towards Warner Brothers as the entire Scooby community right now, who saw Mystery Pups was cancelled and something had to be done.
I mean, I respect it, and I do kind of stand by though. Like, if this inspires someone from the Holiday Haunt team and Haunted High Rise team, maybe even Mystery Pups, depending how far along that is, to just put out what they've got online, I'm a bit like, as fans, that would be the best day ever. That would literally be, and no pun intended for Holiday Haunt, Christmas Day once again. But at the same time, then Warner Brothers will have no fan backlash. It will just be, yay, we've got it now. Let's move on with the rest of our lives. So, and I guess you can argue that's probably better for the world. It's kind of like, so Warner Brothers can just cancel stuff and get away with it. And obviously, they've missed out on money. We've won as an audience. But because of all the interviews and stuff, I'm kind of thinking, would someone that has been kind enough to speak to us, for example, cares about the franchise, cares about like the whole Scooby thing, they've lost out on 2 years, potentially even more, of looking for other jobs, finding revenue, and ultimately it's been for nothing and they don't even get paid properly for it. Like, that's kind of my only thing about that, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens with how things are going in quick succession. I think any more leaks we would expect this week. It has to be, right? Like, they're not. No one's gonna look at this and think, you know what? Maybe 2 months down the line, I'll try and do this. It's gonna be, oh right, okay. So if they're not in trouble, let's put it out
Yeah,
there.
and I think honestly, this is all going to come back to bite Warner Brothers a little bit because for all you've said, you know what, everyone's winning, we get our movie, they don't get the backlash. They're going to get some backlash somewhere if Scooby stuff releases unofficially that they were claiming a tax write-off for, because they are getting the marketing from it being out there. They are getting benefits. They are getting the awareness of their brand, their movie. Someone's going to be knocking on the doors of Warner Brothers saying, you owe us some tax money because the movie's out there. They're getting the benefit of Scooby coming to light. Scooby's getting regenerations, promotions. The movies are out there. They're easily accessible. We managed to find it. Other people have managed to find it. So I'm gonna say some issues there.
Somebody, unfortunately, if they've not already, will probably lose their job over this.
But what job? If like if Warner Brothers are just storing movies, cancelling them, who's losing their job? Because these people have lost their jobs. Their projects have been cancelled.
I mean, here's some backlash, right? Are we in agreement? And you don't need to be biased, like you can have your opinion, but are we in agreement that that movie we just saw was better than Velma?
God, yeah, 1,000,000%.
So I guess to that end, you can look at them and judge, okay, so this is what Warner Brothers puts on the shelf, and Velma's what they don't. That's what you can take away if the other stuff does start to be leaked as well. Now, it could be, and God forbid, Haunted Harriers gets leaked and it's absolute trash. Like, obviously, I love Trick or Treat. I say the chances of it being trash is so unlikely, but that is distinctly possible here. But I think ultimately, this is the first indication that what Warner Bros. Are putting on the shelves is better than what they're not.
I've seen and heard enough to know that Haunted High Rise is better than Velma.
Something would
That's
have had to
all
have
I'm
gone
saying.
dramatically wrong. I mean, there's some people on the internet that literally think Sam Register himself could have vlogged himself taking a dump in the morning and it would have been better than Velma's. And I would, you know what I mean?
The only thing I will say in Velma's defense is it really hurt going back to this stupid, irritating Velma voice.
You said to me that when I said I preferred Mindy Kaling's Velma to Kate Micucci's Velma, and you ripped me a new one. What are you saying now?
In Trick or Treat, I prefer that Velma voice. However, this is a reminder that her Velma voice used to be horrific. It did, but anyway, yes.
I would rather watch 8 seasons of the Velma show than listen to a 1-hour audiobook of Kate Micucci.
I'd agree.
Oh,
But
okay. But
at the same time,
Matthew Lillard, Frank Welker, Grey Delisle. Okay, right. Let's cut that out.
You're a creep.
they're all 5-star. Like, I know for a fact that they're just so good. I want Matthew Lillard to do what Frank Welker's done and just stay along for the long haul. I think
he will.
That would be amazing.
I don't think you could replace him at this point.
Well, we say that, but it is Warner Brothers.
Yeah, but I think okay. So
we'll get some like TikToker to do it.
I think the thing with Warner Brothers is, you know how we've said they've been stuck in this archaic thing where it's like they just aren't used to having to do any online promoting. they don't have a social media presence, things like that. Like, you remember us saying that before and discussing that with other people before, right?
Yeah, like they're not great.
I think HBO Max have come in and kind of said, this is what people want. They want this dark adult humor. They want this, they want that. And so they've listened to HBO Max, and all this younger Scooby stuff, like Mystery Pups and like the original kind of direct-to-DVD movies like Krypto, all of a sudden are like getting a backseat. More than a backseat, they're getting cancelled.
The thing is, this movie, for all I think it's better than Velma. I don't think this would have been anything if it just released. It would be another Scooby-Doo movie to the world. Maybe not to us, maybe we'll rank it highly, which I'm sure in terms of crossovers, I think we do. But this is gonna make headlines on Screen Rant, Collider, Total Film. Every single news outlet is gonna be, leaked Scooby-Doo. How did this happen? Like, this comes after this news. Like, this is gonna be a big movie in terms of name because of the way it was released. So, in terms of marketing, I kind of feel like it is maybe possible that this could actually be an executive decision to not shut us up a bit, but like, imagine that. Let's look at it from an example. Not someone putting their finger up to Warner Brothers, but let's say you are Warner Brothers. Fan backlash from the Hex Girls, fan backlash from all of this. Do they throw us a bone to shut us up?
Question: why this one and not Haunted High Rise? Because Haunted High Rise is going to have been better. I can say that without seeing it.
I don't want to say too much, but from what we're aware of, is it ready?
Pretty much. From what we know, it's pretty much ready. Okay, we'll finish this conversation after the recording.
Yeah.
Because I disagree with what you're saying. I think it's ready enough.
For us, for people that are interested in that side of animation, like how
okay, then
works,
why not Holiday Haunt?
Agreed. Why not?
That's 100% ready. And again, I think Scooby fans.
Then again, though,
if it's
a spin-off, right? It's younger Scooby-Doo. It's Ian Armitage as Shaggy. I think this is safer than Holiday Haunted.
Disagree.
I think it's safer.
Disagree.
To release this.
I'm gonna say, if you're doing this to appease traditional Scooby fans, you don't release a crossover movie unless you really have to.
And again, if they were to leak Holiday Haunt, why not orchestrate? If this goes well, why not orchestrate a Holiday Haunt leak in December?
But you wouldn't start with a crossover. If you're doing this to appease fans and give them something they want, you're going to go for the one that's got a petition with thousands of signatures, not a crossover, which kind of renowned as not doing as well.
I really don't know. Now, there's a lot of changes going on at DC at the moment with like James Gunn and so. I wonder if it's connected to that at all. I wonder.
I don't know.
But there will be a kind of further discussion, probably a few further discussions about these topics. Because
I need to have a further discussion with you now, because I don't know what you mean about Haunted High Rise.
You know what?
All right, continue.
Okay, well, so yeah, that's our reaction for today. If you do want to see more, then please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.